Hello and welcome to the long-awaited first ever Creative Saints podcast. We're doing it. I'm Victoria McKenna.
And I'm Josh McKenna.
We are husband and wife, and we have wanted to do this for how many years now?
4 years?
4 or 5 years. Wanted to start a podcast, but here we are. It's happening. And babe, why don't you tell the people where we're currently podcasting from?
We are podcasting from our luxurious, warm, cozy studio of our car.
Yeah. This is what happens. Kids are in bed, and we are sitting in the driveway
Recording our first ever
podcast because the sound was better than anywhere in the house. So this is what entrepreneurship looks like, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so here we are, Creative Saints.
Welcome,
and let's get into it. What are we doing?
We are creating a place to talk about creatives, freelancing, running a business, and doing life in the midst of that.
Yeah, it's a crazy ride, but here we are. So a little bit about us. We've been entrepreneurs, freelancers, contractors for about 6.5 years now. We've been married for
8,
almost 9 years.
8.5 years.
And so most of our marriage has been this. And
it's fun. It's exciting.
It's stressful.
It ebbs and flows.
Yep.
And we are working to build community and foundation to minimize the ebbs and flows and to be a support system to ourselves through building community, but also to others who maybe, like us, have lived in a large community that has a lot of creatives around everywhere. Everybody professionally is a creative, to a place where the creatives are different and
a little harder to find.
Harder to begin communication and relationship with.
Yeah. So we spent 16 years in Nashville. We met there, got married there, and started raising our family there. And then last year...
Our teeth on freelancing and entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it was the most amazing creative city. And for that to be where we got to grow and learn and build a network of people and just do life was incredible.
It really was.
It really was.
Coffee shop networking.
Yeah. No matter where you went, no matter what coffee shop you went to, no matter what, it just didn't matter where you were. Somebody around was going to be creating something and have something for you to get involved in and just be a part of doing life together and making cool stuff. And
you didn't know where the day was going to take you.
Yeah, anything could happen. If we were ever in need of clients, we'd just send you out to a local coffee shop and you'd come back with work.
And it worked.
It did work, yeah. But last year we felt like we were supposed to go live closer to family, and that brought us all the way north to Oakland County, Michigan, just outside of Detroit, and here we are. It's been not quite a year yet, but it was a culture shock in none of the ways that we thought it was going to be. I think the first being that obviously we didn't bring our friends with us, but we didn't expect finding creative community to be so difficult. And maybe we've kind of said if we had moved directly downtown Detroit and, kind of did that big city move, maybe it wouldn't have felt so tough. But we are in a more rural area, and
which is what we wanted.
We wanted to be close to family. We wanted to be outside of the hustle and bustle. So it's everything we wanted, but we still wanted the creative community also. And so that was hard to find. And then we started getting connected with a few people here and there, and they were kind of people even that had been here way longer than us that were echoing the same thing, that, it's not easy to find creative people here, to have the network, to build the connections. So we just decided to build it ourselves.
That's kind of our MO.
Yeah.
If it doesn't exist, if it's something we desire, we just make it happen. So part of the reason in starting this podcast group, which we'll get to more of the group and the community in a little bit, but part of us starting this is to build a process, build a plan for those people who have made a move similar to us, or who do live in a smaller town, a smaller community, who do find it hard to find other creatives, entrepreneurs, freelance community, to be able to start this where you live.
Yeah, I think it's so important because we were kind of talking about this earlier, but like entrepreneurship can be so isolating. And I think in the creative sphere, that kind of calls for like a certain type of person, and it can be really insular. And so yeah, I think finding people that are passionate about the same things you're passionate about and want to build and want to grow is so important. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to do this alone, and so yeah, we don't want to do it alone anymore.
So come with us.
Yeah, join us on the journey. How many cliche things can we say in a short span of time?
Let's try and keep it to a minimum.
Yeah. So let's talk about. So that's kind of the creative part of it, but like, let's talk about the saints part of it. Why creative saints? Why not just creative people?
Because that doesn't sound good from a branding perspective.
That's true, actually.
So that is actually very true. But saints, because we have always put God, Jesus, faith as the forefront of what we do and live, but not always put Jesus as the directional arrow on our business, or allowed him to direct our business in the way that we're supposed to go.
Yeah.
And so with the creative and finding community, finding people with good morals, people who have treating their clients and customers with the utmost respect and treating them like Jesus would, taking care of them, doing everything with excellence, doing things with kindness, and being a light to the world, and also being generous and giving back to the world.
Yeah. I think another huge part of that is, yes, finding people with the same goals, but also finally running our business completely God-led.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that like we do everything right, but we're finally at a place where if there's anything in our gut telling us not to do that, we're going to call that Holy Spirit. We're not going to do it, or vice versa, And so I think just really taking our business to the Lord and saying, what do you want to do with this? How do you want to build this? What do you want to grow from this? And we haven't always been the best at that. I think that's fair to say. I mean, it's sometimes you're just trying to pay the bills, or you just want to do it the way you want to do it. And yeah, I think that
allowing discernment to guide. Yeah,
for sure. And I think we're finally at a place where we are seeing the fruit of turning it over to the Lord and actually letting him lead this and guide this in the way that he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I had a scripture. I wasn't going to read it until maybe later, but maybe this is a good time to do it. So we as a family, we read the Bible every morning with our girls, or most mornings. We try to do it every day, but
the scheduled routine.
Yeah, sometimes nobody sleeps the night before and everything goes out the window the next day.
About last night. Okay, so we're reading this morning, and we've been reading in Exodus, and we are currently learning about the temple and Moses getting the instructions for the Ark of the Covenant and the mercy seat and all these things. And we're at the part now in chapter 28 where the Lord is giving Moses the instructions for the priest's garments that Aaron and his sons are going to wear. Obviously, it's so much detail, and it's very cool, but I won't go into all of it. But verse 2 says, "And you shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother, for glory and for beauty. You shall speak to all the skillful, whom I have filled with a spirit of skill, that they may make the garments to consecrate him for my priesthood." We kind of looked up at each other from the table as we were reading that, like, wait a second, and okay, read that again. But when it says, "Speak to the skillful, whom I have filled with a spirit of skill," I don't know, it just was so highlighted to me in that moment that, like,
they had never done this before. The people that they were going to, that were going to sew these garments together, there were very specific instructions, had never done it before. There had never been anything like this before. No mandate like this from God before. And so this was a brand new concept to them. And yet God is like, hey, I've already put this skill in them. Like, just tell them what I said to do. And I've given them the skill to do it. And I just felt like, man, isn't that what we're doing right now? Like,
Yeah.
I've never done a podcast. Yeah, I've wanted to. I'm a podcast nerd. I listen to a podcast at least every day. And
It takes me a week to listen to a podcast.
and yet there's kind of been this thing in me that's like, ugh, but I don't know how.
I don't have the microphones. I don't have the space.
Yeah, like, obviously, we are recording in our car right now. It would be really easy to say, we are not capable of doing this. And we'll see how this turns out. Maybe we will say we're not capable.
But we have said for a very long time, just starting.
Just begin. Yeah.
Just get started. Take the first step.
Yeah.
Get it out there, and things start to go. This is already feeling
Natural.
more natural.
Yeah.
And just,
I mean, it helps when you like the person you're talking to.
I mean, I like you a lot.
It's
So
a goal for the future to not have any people on we don't like talking to.
check.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like, gosh, whatever it is that God wants to do through us, He's already put it in us. He's already given us the skill. And that's not to say that we're just going to like make gold out of nothing. We have to hone our skills. We have to work toward them. And yeah, but I don't know. I just felt like, man, okay, if I can go into whatever this next season holds for our business with that mindset of, if I'm meant to do it, He's already put the skill in me to do it. I don't know. It just felt really like I don't have to stress out about it so much.
But this isn't the next level in our business. This is the next layer in our business, and building multiple things that, and this is what we want to do with everybody and grow together and collab and partner with people, is just continue to build up together, and not just be a singular stream of revenue or a singular thing, but have multiple different facets that build it together into something that can actually make an impact.
Yeah, I'm excited to grow and excited to see where this goes. And if this only leads to meeting people in the area, like, cool. I'm totally cool with that.
It doesn't suck.
It doesn't suck meeting new people. I'm a hyper extrovert, and so I am always thriving when I meet new people. Yeah, I'm excited.
This will be fun.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
I'm an extrovert when I have a cup of coffee in my hand.
Which will come in handy because that was a good lead-in, babe.
I was trying. A little segue there. I also was trying to come up with a Ted Lasso quote to pop in there, but it didn't work.
I don't think there's anything appropriate you can say from Ted Lasso on the podcast. Okay, so if you are listening to this podcast and you are local to Oakland County, Rochester Hills area in Michigan,
Or you want to drive.
Or you're willing to drive to meet cool people.
Why not?
We just want to invite you. We are having our first in-person meetup hang situation on March 11th at 6:30 downtown Rochester Hills at Dessert Oasis Coffee Roaster. Coffee shop, coffee roaster?
I think it's a
Dessert Oasis.
They don't roast coffee there.
Okay.
I think they're just a coffee shop, and they have music sometimes.
Yeah, so we're just going to hang out, and we'll put all the links in for the landing page and for the Instagram and all that. You can message us, let us know if you want to come hang out.
The landing page is going to be crucial to staying up to date on meetups. If times change or anything like that, we'll post it on social media, but algorithms will do what algorithms do, and
that's true.
You may not see it. We may not see it. So
that's actually
if you sign up on the landing page, we'll link all of that. It'll be in our Instagram bio. It will be everywhere we put it. You'll get updates on meetups, on different events that we want to have, an online community that we would like to build as this progresses, merch, fun stuff. I'm a sucker for merch. I like to make things.
Yeah, so. Me too. You know what I just thought, though?
What?
We haven't actually talked about what we do.
Yeah.
This is what a creative brain looks like. And I think in a world, well, yeah, I think it's kind of funny because in 2025, everybody's a creative. And I mean, that's not a bad thing. It makes conversation awesome when you're trying to talk to people. And it makes projects awesome when you're trying to get to a goal.
You need the next conversation and the next conversation because you can't fit it all into one.
But what do we do, babe?
We do graphic design, branding, etc.
And all that entails. Merch, print media, websites.
We work a lot with churches doing sermon series and LED walls and cohesive branding packages, ministry branding, merch, different things like that. We also work with small retail businesses. We work with large global corporations. And it's been fun, but churches, nonprofits, ministries really are the niche, building people up, things that are building community, building the kingdom, building the community they're in. Yeah. Those are really the things that God has kind of, I don't want to say funneled, but funneled us into.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have found this niche passion, I guess. And, you know, in the church world, I guess it's not so niche. Everybody kind of has a person at their church that does that kind of stuff, or they farm it out. We're the people they farm it to when that happens. And yeah, it's awesome. I think it's been really fun. It's been a fun thing to learn together. I am not a designer. I kind of come from more of an admin background. I like structure and checklists.
But you're like Superwoman when it comes to processes and organization.
I appreciate that. So we make a really good team. And I guess when we started this business, it took me a minute to get on board with what Josh had felt we were supposed to do. But once I did, there was no turning back. What has been the hardest part to you about being an entrepreneur?
Oh, man. Lack of having someone smarter than me to show me where I'm making mistakes so that I don't make them. We have reformulated our business probably 4 times. Because we have learned lessons. I don't have any regrets, but we've learned lessons, and I've learned that having someone smarter than you, someone, even if it's not as a creative, just someone as like a business person or as a pastor or a mentor, someone that you can just bounce things off of, and they can say, wow, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, or hey, you might be onto something, keep at it, and it's going to take a long time to keep at it. So the ebbs and flows, and I didn't realize in the beginning that if it was starting to feel like a failure, that didn't really mean it was a failure, but it did highly, it probably took me 3 times of that happening to realize that you have to realign and keep trying a different way until it works. And I don't regret it, but I wish that I wouldn't have been so bullheaded in the beginning.
Yeah, like I had this idea, I have to accomplish it.
I can do this. I can do this on my own.
Yeah. No, I think that's really good. And I think that we did in Nashville find some of those people, and you would go out and talk to people that weren't, you know, your boss by any means, but they were people that you could say, hey, I kind of want to do this. What do you think?
Yeah. Shout out if you're listening. You probably know who you are. You definitely know who you are.
Yeah, that's good. And it's not like you have a boss that you can go to and say, what do you think about my idea? You know,
it actually just crashes and burns and fails, and you learn that it doesn't work. What has been the most fun? We've talked about how hard it is. We've talked about raising a family. You do an amazing job with homeschool and taking care of our home and taking care of us and all of that. But what has been the most fun part from your side?
I think seeing fruit come from things, like, it feels really generic of an answer. There are certain projects that they just work. Like, the connection at the beginning with the client is awesome, and there's just an understanding of what they want, and we get the vision, and when that happens, when everything is clicking, that is so fun. That doesn't mean that, like, we turn stuff in and they absolutely automatically love it, but the working process, like, when there is a vibe and it's just like, we're accomplishing something, and most of the time that's for someone's church. Obviously, you know, we are really passionate about that, and seeing the local church grow And so I think the most fun projects for me have been those church teams that we've gotten to work with where, man, it clicks, and then they see a return because of whether it's an event or a new ministry.
When they email or message back and say, we have this and 30 people receive salvation. That's a pretty baller thing to get an email for.
Yeah, that's happened. Those have been some of the most fun projects for sure. And then I think just seeing the reward of like, man, we do everything together. And I mean, there are times where we look at each other and say, love you. One of us has to leave the house today and not be next to each other.
And I volunteered to go get coffee.
Yeah. If you could go work from a coffee shop today, that would be really helpful.
Plug in, put on hardcore.
Yeah, but it's so funny. We had someone last night in a meeting. We were kind of talking to them about some of the things that we want to do and areas we want to work in, and even with them and with a specific ministry. And we were going through this, and like our girls are in the background playing because they're just along for the ride with us, whatever we're doing.
Like,
and
for real.
Yeah. And this person looked at us and was like, how do you do all of this? How do you raise them and do all of this? And I don't know, it just feels like, I do feel like we've been blessed with a capacity for what God has called us to do. Like, we do homeschool. We've made this big move. We've completely changed our lives moving out of state. And I don't know, it just feels like, I don't know how we do it. We just do it. Like, you just go, you just keep running, you just keep digging your heels in. And I guess I'm really thankful for like the life we've built. Yes. But also the life that we're building, the things that we're leaning into and pressing toward. And this right here is just the beginning of that. It really does just feel like the start of something awesome.
So this is for creative people who may be a creative, a freelancer, a business owner who is looking for a community, looking to build community, build collaboration opportunities, someone who is looking for fun and encouraging community to build something that's bigger than you, that's just for you. If you're stuck in your career and you're looking for inspiration, this is for you. If you have gone like we have and you have a cool comeback story, or you are in the middle of what we said we've walked through, or if you just want to change and you want to jump into the creative, we'd love to talk with you. So meet up March 11th,
meet up March
6:30, Desert Oasis.
Yeah, and let us know. I mean, comment, whether it's find us on Instagram or comment even like in the podcast and stuff. I would love to just kind of see who's listening. What do you guys do? Are you a photographer? Are you a designer? Are you a seamstress? Like, what is it that you do? And how are you just weaving that into your life? And maybe you're not doing it full time or haven't even thought about monetizing that, but okay, well, does that sound intriguing? And how could you do that on the side? And I mean, even outside of our full-time job, we've done little things here and there. And I decorated cookies for a while during COVID, made some money doing that. And so there have always been little things that we've really tried to take our passions, our gifts, and just see how big we could grow them.
Yeah.
And so, I think we've definitely learned some things along the way, and we want to hear from you guys and just
what are you looking for?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do and what are you looking for? How can we tailor this to speak to you directly, to help you find the answers to build and grow what you are doing? Yeah.
Is there a void that we can fill in some way? Or I'm excited.
Me too.
So, everyone, welcome to Creative Saints.
Welcome.
We're excited that you're here and excited to see what this becomes.
What the future holds.
Yep. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon.
We'll be back next week.
Bye.